Hi everyone, as you have already realized, this video is about how much you can make in scalping in 5 minutes of trading. However, this is not just a clickbait video showing how simple scalping is. No, it's about how do we get into active and potentially profitable 5 minutes. Before watching, don't forget to subscribe to the C-Scalp resources where you can get all the answers and grab some good setups. All the links under the video. The first trade was Thermo USDT horizontal level breakout. Here you see that I entered the position by the market in advance. From the very beginning, the previous trade was a stop loss hit that brought me minus $62. And in this trade, the aim was to compensate this loss. As you see, there were several limit orders for fixation placed in advance to fix the profit instantly when the breakout occurs. The instrument is quite active, as you see, high volumes, vertical volumes, and this level is quite clear with no false breakout. I made a decision to place a short stop loss. The risk was minimal. Here you see that the tape is getting more and more active. By the end, there was a misclick, but finally I close the position manually, plus $63. The loss was totally compensated. The next trade, a really good short smart zone. The price drastically approached to this zone and I entered quite accurate. The movement wasn't so confident, but anyway, the concept of smart zones usually bring us really good win rate. The stop loss in a break-even already, and the only outcome is 0 from this situation or the profit. The aim was to get to the overlow of this level, to renew this previous low, to renew this previous minimum. But what I didn't like is that this situation was really slow and the price was getting weaker and weaker. The reason I think was the exit of volumes from this instrument. But anyway, I didn't take a risk because my stop loss was already in a break-even. I was just waiting for the outcome. I didn't like the character of movement, and the decision was to close the trade, plus $40. The next really good trade was another zone, long zone on Pendle USDT, as you see. Graphically, there was ideal zone from where the reaction was really instant. As you see, again, we see the minimal risk because stop loss I placed behind the closest size of 46,000 contracts, and by that time the reaction was already showing that the setup is working out. And the idea was that on this instrument that was really active, the price movement were between the zones of liquidity, as you see. And the reaction was really good. I started to fix. Of course, the target was to reach the higher zone, but anyway, I wasn't greedy that day and decided to fix the profit of about $100. Within 5 minutes on such an active market, I earned almost $200, taking into account that I compensated $60 of loss. So first of all, it's extremely important to distinguish scalping from other type of high leverage trading. Scalping is primarily trading highly leveraged coins or in-play instruments. You can spend all the day looking for a situation to work out. But the biggest trouble is that the longer you search for a situation in the market with a purpose or desire to make a trade, the more likely by the end of this trading session you will gamble. Probably many beginners have recognized themselves now. They sit down to trade. There is nothing to trade on the market. They go gambling, and deposit finally is getting lower and lower. So it's going to be an avalanche-like loss of deposit. So here is my way to optimize trading time. Regardless of the time and trading session, we go to cryptocurrency screener from the Cscalp. So we observe the most active instruments and we take the leaders of growth. We go to trading terminal and here we try to find different setups to work out. And here we should evaluate the nadir. The nadir is the most important parameter of volatility. We measure 1 minute time frames with the measure instrument and it should be no less than 1.5% of movement of each 1 minute candle. If the average 1 minute candle is about 1.5% of movement, this volatility is good enough for trading different scalping setups. If the average movement of a minute candle is less than 1 to 1.5% as measured with a ruler, then we skip the instrument because it's not enough volatile. Also, if we don't find formations or realize that the volumes are reduced, we skip this instrument. So we repeat this procedure with other top instruments, with other leaders of growth in the screener, and if our search doesn't meet our requirements, we repeat the same manipulation in 15 or 30 minutes. So using this screener, using this principle, we save our energy, we don't waste our time. If we have no really active instrument to find setups on it, we can switch to other things. For example, if you're a beginner, we start with a course of futures trading. The link you will find under the video. And finally, we get back to the market. We see that there are many instruments that are skyrocketing. We choose active instruments and we place all these instruments to our trading space, and we see that there are many scalping opportunities. Such instruments have a lot of participants, we have a very active tape, and we see that we can trade it, we can search for different setups, different smart zones, breakout formations, and so on. And this is our active and potentially profitable time. So finally, what is the conclusion? Use the Pareto principle of efficiency. Trade only active periods that can be easily tracked with screener. 5 minutes of trading on a correctly selected market will be more effective than long hours of searching for setups on an active market. Wish you profits. See you soon.